So, Sense and Sensibility is this, story written by Jane Austen, and there's a lot of sense in there, and sensibility, too, and if you can't really tell what the difference is, I can't either, so it's one of the great mysteries of life. I think Plato tried to figure it out, but he couldn't, so, how should I know? Anyway, you'll, think it's a romance novel, but it's not. Don't make that mistake. I did that once. It's about these sisters, the Dashwood sisters. There's two of them, Eleanor and Mary Ann. But no, wait, actually there's three. But everyone kind of forgets about the third one. Her name is, Marge or Peggy or something. Anyway, so, the dad dies, and their brother gets all the cash, and his wife is like, don't give them any of the money, because that's a waste. You have to throw them out of the house. And he's like, I'm throwing you out of the house. So yeah, they get thrown out of the house. Their mom and some servants go with them too. So then they move into this really small house that probably hasn't passed inspection in years. And this one day, Marianne decides to go over a walk, and then she falls down a hill, and now she can't walk. And Marge can't carry her back because she's not allowed to show up more than twice per page. But it's then this guy, Willoughby, shows up out of nowhere, and he carries her back to the house. And she falls in love with him right away, and they start hanging out together all the time, and people just think they're engaged. And then this one day, he's like, I have to go, and he just leaves her without really any explanation, which sucks. And then she cries for 20 pages, depending on your edition of the book. But meanwhile, the other sister, Eleanor, she falls in love with this guy, Edward Ferrari, and they just play it off like they're just friends, but everyone knows what's happening, even Marge. And then later, one day, she meets this girl, Lucy Steele, and she's like, I'm gonna tell you a secret. And it turns out she's been engaged to Edward for years. And Eleanor's like, well, that's just BS. And Lucy's like, but don't tell anyone, because it's a secret. Only she just told it to a stranger, so yeah, that'll work. But, oh wait, yeah, there's this other guy, too, Colonel Brandon. There are too many freaking characters in this book to remember, and why are half of their names Dashwood? It's very confusing. But anyway, so Colonel Brandon's really old, 35, and he's got this rheumatism, and we don't really know how he's still walking. He has this dark, mysterious past, and he really loves Marianne, but she's with Willoughby, so he just kind of has to admire her from afar for most of the book. Yeah. So then Eleanor and Marianne decide to go to London, and they go to this ball, and guess who they see there? Willoughby with some other girl. Turns out he's engaged to this girl who has a lot of money, and he doesn't have money because of his own dark, mysterious past. So then Marianne gets really sad and cries some more, and then Colonel Brandon comes over to visit, and he tells Eleanor that Willoughby has been sleeping around, and he just ditched this woman and he got pregnant. And then later that day, or probably maybe a few days later, I don't know, Eleanor's hanging out with Lucy, and Edward comes over, and he's like, oh, you two know each other? That's awkward. And Eleanor's just I got too many people's secrets to worry about here. So yeah. Then, after that, Marianne's basically almost cried herself to death, which I didn't really know was a thing, but I also didn't know fainting to death was a thing. So there's that. And Colonel Brandon goes to bring her mom over to her, and she miraculously recovers, and then they start hanging out more, and then they fall in love. And meanwhile, there's this servant who runs in, and he's like, I just saw Mr. and Mrs. Ferrari. And Eleanor's like, Edward married Lucy. Well, that sucks. But plot twist, Edward has this brother, Robert, and he married Lucy. So then Eleanor's like, does that mean Edward's available? Score! And then everyone gets married, the end.